Hey friends, it's Zack, former Green Beret and CEO of Operators Association, where our job is to help you get selected in special operations. Listen, question I get all the time from new members and guys that are diving into special operations is, can I be introverted? And the answer is yes. We've got all kinds of different people in special operations. And today I want to do something a little bit different. I'm going to give you a podcast clip from a long time ago inside of Operators Association where I dive into some of my friends, some of my mentors, some of my teammates, some of the people that helped me go through the evolutions, go through the courses, go through my team time. They were actually introverts. I want to talk about myself and how, basically special operations is primed to have people, specifically in the Army side, that are from a wide array of different backgrounds, and you get to be yourself. And sometimes people don't see that angle inside of special operations before they choose which path they want to go on. So let's make sure and dive in.
Welcome to the Operators Association podcast. I'm your host, former Green Beret Zack Hughes. This is the 43rd episode of the Operators Association podcast. And about 4 weeks ago, we started the Weirdly Specific podcast version. And today marks our 5th episode of the Weirdly Specific podcast. Today, we're going to talk about Green Beret introverts. We're going to talk about females. We're going to talk about telling people that you're in the pipeline. And we're going to discuss being the SWIC guys at Fort Bragg. So first, it's important to note that in general, when you think about Green Berets, you think very people-oriented individuals that can go into a foreign country and build rapport and really mingle with the indigenous population. I think it briefs that Green Berets are the most personable of all of the soft communities because we have to go in and actually build relationships with individuals. And because of those individuals, we get to work in that country. Perfect example, Afghanistan. We're in Afghanistan right now, and we're working with those countries to build up their military behind enemy lines. We've got to have good relationships with them. You've got to be good at maintaining a relationship with someone. So inherently, people think that you've got to be a very structured, personable individual that is very external and very outgoing and an extrovert. And I'm here to tell you that that's not always the truth. The fact is that the captain and the team sergeant are the most outbound individuals on an ODA. As a base level individual, you don't necessarily need to be the most extroverted person in the world. And to be quite honest with you, I know a ton of my friends who I would label as introverts that have been very successful at being Green Berets. But in general, what I want to discuss is the fact that you can be an introvert and be a Green Beret, but so many people are introverts. But they also have to be high producers. So if I put you in a scenario where it's like, hey, you've got to go be somebody's friend, they're just able to work through it, right? If you become a Green Beret, you go through selection, you go through the Q course, you're kind of a doer. You're going to get things done, and you're going to get things done no matter what. So if you're an introvert and I put you in a scenario where you've got to make friends with somebody for 6 straight weeks and also work with them, you're going to become an extrovert for 6 weeks. You literally probably did that during the entire Q course, and you can do it. And when you go home in the evenings, whenever you finally get into your nice little sleeping bag, you're going to turn off and you're going to be like, thank God I'm not around people. And it happens all the time. On deployments, you'll see guys, like we have our own rooms, and then we have like the ready room and the war room and all these other rooms where we work out. We'll be in one room together working, and then at some point people break off and kind of go in their own directions. And you'll see the introverts that don't go to like the common areas. We'll be playing rock band in one area or like hanging out telling stupid stories. And you'll notice that a couple of the guys aren't there. They're in their room and they're like watching a movie on their laptop that they downloaded or a DVD, but they're by themselves, and it's totally fine. Like it's just, you can still be yourself. You don't have to be with everyone constantly. And if you want to be, that's fine. And if you don't, it's not a big deal. I know tons of my friends that would do this all the time. I had a roommate that lived with me that was a stud that I went through the Q course with. And we would come home from work and I would like go to the living room and kind of turn on the TV and like hang out and wait for people to come home and bullshit with them. And he wasn't really about that. He'd come in, he'd make dinner, he'd do what he needs to do, and he'd go straight to his room, shut the door. He was done with people. It's not that he didn't like me. It's not that he didn't want to be around me. He was just an introverted individual, which is totally fine. It worked for him. Many of the times when we first started living together, I'd be like, dude, what's the deal? He hates me. Are we having some issues? Did I do something wrong? Was I an asshole? All these things, like almost insecurities in like a female relationship or a girlfriend that you would have. Because to be honest with you, we never lived together during the Q course. I had one roommate who went on to a different direction after he graduated. He went to the National Guard. Now he's at 5th Group. And then I had 3 friends that I graduated the Q course with that were going to 7th Group with me. the three of them and me. So the four of us were like, hey, let's get a 4-bedroom house outside of Destin. Done. And we had known each other a little bit, but we that wasn't like my internal really close group of friends. It was just like we all knew each other a little bit. So it just made it work, because a lot of people are going to be in relationships or married or other things. And all of your core group of friends, sometimes they go to different groups. And that just happens. So like my roommate, my best friend, went to the National Guard when we graduated. He didn't go to 7th group. Or some of my other best friends were married, so they're living with their wives. So the four of us got a house, and you start to see each other, and you start to notice the guys who have, that are introverted and not extroverted. Two of the four of us were very introverted, and then the third was like kind of in the middle. I'm just way out there where I didn't want to be at home at all on the weekends. So one of the guys who used to be a Mormon, he was like very social person, but he wanted to stay at home a lot. And he didn't drink. He didn't want to go out and have fun, do things like that. He just wanted to stay home, like have a couple drinks. Very conservative individual, right? One of my best friends, I love him. Second roommate that I was talking about, he would come home from work and just go straight to his room. And he didn't play games. He would like call friends or stuff. I don't know what he would do. Watch movies, watch shows. He would actually watch shows in the living room when he thought I wasn't coming home or we weren't coming home. And then people would show up and he would just transition from the living room to his bedroom, which I found so odd at first, because to be honest with you, all through college, I mean, I literally lived with dudes from the time I was 19 years old until 3 months ago, literally. And I'm 34 years old. So we're talking 19, 29, 30, 31, 15 years I lived with nothing but bros up until 2 months ago. My poor wife, number one. So, but my friends in college were the ones that I chose because we partied together and we hung out together. We became friends early on when I was working at this company called Cabela's. And then grad school was the same way. I pick and choose my friends. So when the Army came knocking, it's like you live with who you're going to live with. And my roommate during the Q course was absolutely an extrovert. We actually finagled a way to live together because I was living in like the poor barracks at Fort Bragg. I don't know if you've heard the story, but it's epic. So we were living in the shitty barracks at Fort Bragg, and they just opened up a brand new barracks, like literally brand new. The rooms had never been used. There was still plastic on them. They had like dining rooms, and it was separated. It was like a game changing. It's like going from a 1940s apartment to something that was just built this year. It had microwaves, which the old ones didn't. So we found out who ran the barracks. SWIC basically has students running everything. And the students that fail out or get holdovers or hurt, they go and work for SWIC, which is Special Warfare Combatants College, some shit. I don't remember the acronym, but that's where the Green Beret school is. It's housed under something called SWIC. Don't be confused. It's not the Navy. We found the dude who was like in charge of the barracks. He happened to have gone to selection with us. It didn't make it out successfully. And we bribed him. We gave him $100 to take our key card from our old barracks and put it in the brand new barracks so we can have a new room. And he was like, yeah, man, no bullshit. So we just packed up all our shit over the weekend and moved and didn't tell anybody. And then we were in the new barracks. That's all it took. Thinking outside of the box. It was a fucking game-changing event. 2 years in the Q course, instead of living in a rat-infested, literally mold everywhere. I didn't even want to be in that shower. The worst thing you could ever think of, to this brand new complex that's right across the hall from where the dining facility is. Complete turnaround of quality of life. But my roommate there that I met at selection, we didn't hang out a lot until we were roommates. We knew each other from selection. It was kind of like, dude, this place sucks. Let's just live together. I started finding out that over time, he was down to go out, but like his definition of going out and having fun was a little bit different than mine because he came from money, like real money, not like a joke money, but real money. And you would never know it. He was a bro. You would never know. And he was totally fun to hang out with. And he had a blast. And we're still great friends. He was in 19th group out of the Q course. Then he moved to 5th group now. And he's in the CRIF there. But my